Hello everybody, my name is David and this is my review of the Sigma 70-200mm f2.8. Now, first of all, there's going to be plenty of very technical reviews out there where they put the lens through tests. What we'll be doing here now is more of a hands-on review where we'll pretty much want to give you an idea whether in practical terms this lens can deliver up to, the standards you need it to, really. Now, well, I'll quickly look at the specs and what the lens comes with, and then we're gonna get right into it. Okay. So now, first of all, this lens comes with the rear cap, the front cap, and it comes with its lens hood. Okay. So let me just pop right on quickly for you. Okay, there you go. Then, as you can see there, that says APO. That stands for. Let me read it out for you. Where is it? Okay. This means that it's in a apochromatic lens. Okay, all of them means that it uses the low dispersion glass that reduces issues such as like for instance chromatic aberration, and it makes the image sharper, crisper. So overall, it will give you a better photo. That's all that means, really. DG means that this lens was made for it to be full sensor cameras, full frame cameras, okay, and of up to 35mm. And does that mean you can't use it with a crop sensor? No, it doesn't. And I've previously used lenses made for full frame cameras with crop sensor cameras. However, I've never done it with a specific lens. So if you got a crop sensor camera, you might want to double check that first. But I do think you should be okay with it. Then if you look at that, HSM there, that means hypersonic motor, which means that it will focus quickly and silently. Then other things there, you got your OS there, the optical stabilizer, and as you can see on the side there, you can go the optical stabilizer. You can flick from off to 1 and 2. You might want to turn it up, for instance, if you're using it on a tripod, because in that case you don't really need it. If you flick it to 1, that will correct both vertical and horizontal camera shakes and movements. If you flick to 2, that will correct only vertical camera shakes and movements, but not the horizontal ones, which will allow you to do things like panning, for instance. Okay, and then you got the autofocus manual focus switch there. And let's have a quick look at the focusing ring as well. As you can see there, you can focus from a minimum focusing this distance of 1.4 meters, which is equivalent to 4.6 feet, all the way up to infinity. And one thing I'm really happy about is the fact that this focus ring is really precise. It's really smooth, but it gives you just enough resistance to be really, really very precise, which is something I'm really pleased with. Then that's the focus ring there. As you can see, it goes from 70mm to 200mm. One thing I really like about it is that you can literally go from 70 to 200 in about, I say it's a quarter of a turn. It's not even a half a turn. It's really quick to go from 70 to 200mm literally with 2 fingers. So you can just really quickly zoom from all the way out to all the way in, and that is really good. Then, so why did I buy this lens? Well, the reason I bought this lens is because I need a lens that would perform well in my worst case scenario, which for me is indoor events. Okay, so I need a lens that I was looking for a lens with a continuous wide aperture. Okay, and this lens has got a wide aperture 2.8, and it's a continuous aperture, which means that independent of whether I'm at 70mm or 200mm, I can be shooting at f2.8, so it's going to let more light in and allow me to have a high shutter speed and keep my ISO as low as possible. Then other things I was looking for, it was an optical stabilizer, because once again I might need to shoot at low shutter speeds, so that will allow me to get sharper images. And I was also looking for something with a decent reach, because I might need to, if it's a large room and I need to get photos of the speaker, I needed a decent reach to do that. So 200mm will allow me to do that. Other things I've done with this lens, I've also done portraiture and headshots with it. Normally for portraiture and headshots, I prefer to use a prime lens, but that's just my personal preference. This lens has performed really well, both for headshots and portraiture. Now, what would you want to use that lens for portraiture? Well, first of all, telephoto lenses, when you're taking photos of people, they tend to give quite flattering results, okay? And also they compress the scene. So if you want to bring the background closer, then might be the lens to go for. And once again, I've used it for headshots as well. And once again, telephoto lenses, as I was just saying, they give you really flattering results, and that performed really well. You can do other stuff with it. You know, if you're a photojournalist and you need decent reach, that might be a good lens to go for. Or, you know, and there might be plenty of other things that this lens can perform well, you know, at. But so if what we use it for is portrait, headshots, and events, and it's performed really well across the board, really. Another thing I always look for is build quality. Okay, that's why, for instance, you know, the reason why I look for a good build quality is because, for instance, you know, I had a lens that I bought a while back, and it literally after a while the grips were coming off. They weren't really, you know, and while you're using the lens, if you got the grips coming off and if you like that, that becomes quite frustrating. But with this lens, the build quality is impeccable. I've had it for about a year. It's you know, I've never had any issues, and the build quality is really solid. Okay. Other things I look at when I'm deciding when I'm happy with the lens or not is things like how does it perform when I'm actually using the lens. Things like issues I had with other lenses was stuff like the lens losing focus or not focusing fast enough, or finding it difficult to focus. So that's all things that could possibly become quite frustrating, because it can be frustrating while you're working, and also the fact that you might go back to the studio and realize, you know, there's a ton of photo there that are actually not quite sharp, because, you know, it was finding it really difficult to either find focus or it was just losing focus. Now with this lens, even though I never put the autofocus through any sort of like test, I never ever had any issues with it. It is silent and it is quick, and it does not tend to lose focus. So once again, no issues there, and there's no other issues in terms of just using the lens. So I'm really happy with it. Then the last thing I look at, which is the most important really, is are you happy with the end results? Now, when I go through a few photos, like from portraits to headshots, and also a few photos are taken at events as well. And well, things I had in the past with other lenses was that, you know, you buy the lens, you start using it, and you realize, you look at the photos, and, you know, the photo is literally it's just, you can tell the soft, it's not sharp enough, or you can get issues like, you know, too much distortion, or like, you know, chromatic aberration. With that lens, I had none of those issues, and I was really satisfied with the results, with the end results. But let's go right into it, and I'm going to show you a few of the photos now. So let's head over to my website. Okay, now let me show you a couple of headshots first. Okay, so that's one of them. So that was done in studio, and ISO, if I remember correctly, was 100, and it was a shutter speed 1/250th of a second, and at f2.8. So as you can see, really nice sharp photo, and personally I'm really happy and satisfied with the results. Then when I was done in my studio as well, with the same lens and same always light ISO 100, f2.8, and 1/250th of a second. And the one in my studio as well, under ISO 100, f2.0, and 1/250th of a second shutter speed. So now let me show you a couple of lifestyle ones I've done. Okay, so these four were done using that lens as well. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also these 4 here. So let's go from the first one. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All done with the same lens. Okay, and let me show you an event as well that I've done. There you go. So this event here was done using that lens, was indoors. As you can see, you got bright windows there. So in terms of light, it wasn't actually too bad. So you could find yourself in worse situations. but overall I'm quite pleased with the way it performed. So there you go, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I will now show you for these photos, I will show you also the raw files as well. So let's head over to Lightroom there. Okay, so as you can see, that's the edited version. Zoom right into to see the sharpness. You see it nice and sharp there. Let's zoom back out. There one there, that's the original file there. So once again, zoom right in, nice and sharp photo. And then we've got them on there. Okay, and let me show you the unedited version of that one. There you go. And that's the last one of these. That's the edited version. As you can see, it's nice and sharp. And there you go, that's the unedited version. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to show you also a couple of these as well. So I already showed you that one on my website, the final version of that. And yeah, if you zoom right in now, you see it's nice and sharp. I've done literally nothing to this photo. So as you can see there, it's nice and sharp. You see, look at the eyes there, and I'm really satisfied with the way the lens performed, really. Okay, and now you've got this one here. That's a lifestyle shoot I've done in central London a while back. And once again, if you zoom right in, you see it is nice and sharp. So it's definitely a great lens to do portraiture, independently whether you prefer to use prime or what you prefer to use anyway. But I'm really satisfied with the way this lens performed. So overall, to conclude with this lens, for me, it's got the specs that I needed to have, which is mainly constant aperture of f2.8. It's got the optical stabilizer. It's got decent reach, and good build quality, good autofocus, and it's performed really well across the board. Really, like headshots, portraiture, events, anything I've done with it, I was really happy with it, with the way it delivered. Okay, so if you've got any questions, do feel free to put any questions you might have in the comment section down below. I really hope this review helps you deciding whether you want to buy this lens or not. And once again, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, see you, bye bye.